A forest is a special place for me. It is, of course, the source of the material that gives me my livelihood. It provides wood. But a forest is much more than that. A forest is a vital part of our earth, of our ecosystem. Each forest provides oxygen. It helps to stabilize the soil. It has a cooling effect on the earth, and it provides a home for many different kinds of plants and animals. Forests, very big ones, like the rainforest, also affect our climate. So a forest is in itself a very, very important place. A forest is also a place of great beauty. The variety of woods, the smells, the animals, the way the forest works together is a miracle for me. It is something that soothes my soul when I go into a forest for a walk. I listen for the birds. I watch the animals. I look at the trees to see the variety and to see how they are growing. I look to the ground, and even when you see a dead tree or mushrooms or even a dead animal, when you look at the forest and you think about it, you realize that even in the dead, even in the rot and what goes on the floor, there is life and hope. So a forest is a wonderful place. Whenever I enter a forest, I think about what I do. And before I go in, I say to the forest, Permesso. Permesso is an Italian word. If you have ever asked for permission, it is the word from which we get permit, permission. Permesso is more than a word, however. Permesso is a traditional way to enter a person's house. You never just walk in the door and say, Buongiorno, I am here. Buonasera, what is for dinner? You knock on the door and you say, Permesso. And by saying Permesso, you are asking a question. May I come in? Am I allowed to enter your house? But you are also making a promise. When you say Permesso, you are saying to the homeowner, to your friend, to your uncle, that you are going to abide by their rules. You are going to respect the household. You are going to respect the people. And so when I enter the forest, now I know the forest is not going to answer, but I go into the forest and I say, Permesso, because I want to put myself in the right frame of mind. I want to go into the forest with a sense of friendship and with a sense of respect. When I go into a friend's house, I do not expect the friend to cater to me, and I do not expect to put my feet on the furniture or to break a lamp. And it is the same with the forest. When I go in, I say Permesso to get permission from the forest, but also as a promise to the forest that I will only walk on the trails that have been broken before. I will not kill anything. I will not ruin the delicate balance of the forest. I will not do anything to dishonor the forest. That is my promise. If I have to go on a new place, then I promise the forest that I will do so very delicately and very carefully, so as not to disturb the forest too much. Permesso is a state of mind as much as it is a request. When I come to the tree, because many times I go for a walk, but also I go into the forest to get a tree for a project. So when I find the tree, I say to the tree, permesso, before I cut it down. Because I want to promise the tree that I am going to use the best of my art to turn that tree into something beautiful. I am not going to waste the wood. I am not going to use it for something ugly. I am going to try not to make a mistake and waste the tree. So I promise the tree these things when I say permesso, because I want the tree to know that it is not being wasted, that it is loved and respected, and that it will have new life, I hope, in my woodworking. When I take the tree out, I make a promise to the forest as well. You see, you cannot just pick any tree. You cannot just go in and cut down a bunch of trees and say, oh, these are for my work, I need them. You have to think about each tree that you are taking away. Is it a special tree? Because perhaps it is the only one that has an eagle's nest. Maybe it is the only one of its species. Maybe it is the tallest and strongest and healthiest tree there. You do not want to touch those trees. Those trees must be left alone. You must preserve the life. You must respect the fact that that tree is healthy, strong. So I take the tree that maybe is a bit smaller, but is better for me because it is exactly the right size that I need. And I take the tree that is common, that there are many, many trees packed together, and perhaps by taking one or two trees out, I actually help the other trees grow better. I take the tree that is convenient. You know, I do not look into the forest far off the trail and say, oh, there's a pretty tree. If I cut down all of these trees, I can get that one out. So I try to respect the forest even when I take a tree from it. I try to respect the tree, and in doing that, I think I am paying respect not only to the forest, but also to God. Was it not Jesus who said, you should love others as you are loved, and do to others as you would like done to yourself? Was that not Jesus? Well, you see, for me, it isn't just love, it is respect. It is a way of looking at other people and realizing that each one is very special. So when I enter a house, it is a way of respecting them that I say, permesso, I ask permission. But there's another way that we need to think about this permission. Say you are walking down the street and you see a friend and you wave to them. That wave is permesso. You are greeting them, but you are also asking the question, is it okay for me to talk to you? Can I cross the street today and come and say hello? Because each of us has a boundary. You know that? Each of us has a little fence around us. Now, if you are an extrovert, you know, one of those people who loves everybody, the fence is very tiny. In fact, sometimes the fence is invisible. And you go in and you say hi and they love it. If you are an introvert, the fence is very big. And you must be very careful when you try to get into an introvert. You must say permesso, even for the slightest contact. You must say, I respect you. I want to do you no harm. But when you say permesso, whether it is to an introvert or to an extrovert, you must be prepared for the answer. No, not today. Today I wish to be quiet. Today the house is a mess. Today the forest wants to be left alone. No is okay. How do you know that you are getting a no? Well, sometimes it is obvious. Sometimes an angry scowl is a no. Do not approach that person unless you are very careful. And unless you are ready to have, as you say in English, to have your head bitten off. You must ask for permission. But sometimes you see somebody who is sad. A sad face is also a kind of no. But sometimes it is an invitation too. Sometimes you ask permesso and the floodgates open for the sad person because nobody else has asked if they can come into their life. Or sometimes you ask a sad person to come in, you say permesso, and they say yes, and they say nothing more. And what they have given you permission to do is to just sit there quietly. I remember a little boy once. He was walking into the church and he saw an old man sitting there all alone. And the old man had a little tear. And the little boy went and sat with him. And he held his hand and the old man took him. And they just sat. And when the time was up, the boy got away. He went back and he heard his mama say, "Oh, what did you say to the man?" And the little boy said, "Nothing. I just heard him be sad." That is part of the way we respect people, the boundary. That is the way we say, permesso, can I come into your life? Now with people, it is challenging. Sometimes they want you to come into their life, and sometimes they say no. But God is always ready with a yes. Jesus says, "Behold, I stand at the door and wait. Knock, and you may enter." The knock is what? Permesso. And with God, the answer is always yes. With Jesus, the answer is always come in. And not just come in, but you are welcome. And when Jesus says we are welcome, we are given a great gift. Because it is He who has the greatest respect for us. And all He asks in return is that we respect Him. We say, Amen.